Something I wanted to bring to the show today. Ooh. There was this horrific thing that happened to this girl here in New York City. Will she get justice? The parents, another one of these child abuse cases.
Every so often this happens. A little kid slips through the cracks of the government agencies that are put in place to protect them. And even though they've been checked on and complained about, and social services goes over and checks it out, something happens, and they wind up getting beaten to death.
Yeah, and the parents were living...
once in a while, two monsters fuck.
Yeah.
And they have a child.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Two monsters.
Yes. I don't know how the fuck you could do something.
Yeah, it's amazing. The parents were living very, very well, and this kid was just tied to chairs. And
how old is
she had to poop in like a cat box and
just dunking her in like ice cold bath
freezing
water.
cold water, and then smacking her around.
Yeah,
I mean, Al-Qaeda's getting treated better than that.
I know, like that. Yeah, hostages. But how old was this girl? Because she looks like she's
7 or 8 or
in her
something
30s.
Like about 7 or 8 years old.
She looks like she's in her 30s.
Oh, fuck, man. If you're going to be pooping in a cat box and getting your face dunked in ice water, you're going to age real fast.
I know. That's just it. It's like she
you're gonna grow up real
so
fucking
quickly.
Fast.
Like progeria by proxy. They beat progeria into her.
And there'll be somebody defending this couple, and and there'll still be people out there that don't get the death penalty and whatever.
Yeah.
That's
the woman will get out of it.
Huh?
The woman always gets out.
She'll say she had no...
I was scared.
I was scared.
I didn't know what was going on. I had an inability to make a phone call. I'm just a girl.
You're so right, man.
That's what
they do it all the time.
Head of
These fucking girls stay with mob husbands. They know what the fuck he's doing.
Yep.
He's out there murdering people, and they're wearing the furs, and then when the FBI shows up, I thought he worked at a bakery. I didn't know what was going on. I thought people really loved his donuts.
Remember Hedda Nussbaum? She was the one with Joel Steinberg. They were a couple of monsters and killed their little child years ago. And she said just that. I was abused. I couldn't make a phone call, and she knew everything that was going on.
Totally.
And she was beat. She looked like like Jake LaMotta.
Yeah.
Just her nose was on the side of her face, big cauliflower ears. Her eyes were all like scarred up.
Who the kid was?
No, the wife of this
God.
Joel Steinberg guy. This guy was just an angry man. Beat the shit out of her and the kid. And this is pretty much the highest profile one of these we've seen since then.
Yeah. So, well, what I want to bring to the attention of the show today. So they had the funeral. And a lot of people that had no idea who this girl was went to the funeral, right? And so they're interviewing these people on TV this morning, and some mom. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I can't imagine how this is a good thing to do to your child. Some mom brings her little kid to the funeral, and then the news now is
and the kid didn't even know the other kid.
No, had no clue, no connection. And it was just like a lot of people feel like they need to go to this wake. So they're going there, to support the child, whatever. So the mom brings this little kid to the wake, and the little kid is horrified, and now the news is interviewing this little girl that can't be much older than this girl. Maybe, actually, I think she's younger. She's got to be like 6 or 7, just crying her eyes out on the news.
Child abuse.
And I'm thinking, what parent would bring their little kid to a funeral like this?
Complete child abuse, bringing this kid. Why would you subject your child to that type of sorrow when you really don't need to?
Especially that when you don't have any connection to this kid whatsoever.
Yeah, images that are going to stick in this kid's head.
Especially if you want your kid to have a childhood.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe not have to look at the horrors.
The horrors of a beating death of a child. That
And look at this.
Well, it is a horrible, horrible thing, but the truth of the matter is, it doesn't happen every day. Kids get abused. I'm not saying that or making light of it or anything, but this isn't something you got to show your kid because it's happening all around you on a daily basis, and you have to train them to get used to it.
Right. This is going to scar.
You can have nightmares.
This is going to scar a kid. And the next time this kid is playing PlayStation, the mom goes, turn off the game and do your schoolwork. I think this kid's going to listen.
Or puts the kid in the high chair and puts that tray in front of her.
Remember nixzmary? Do you remember what she looked like laying in her coffin? Okay, clean up your room now. Clean up your room.
Clean up your room. Seems to be a perfect kid now. I guess maybe the mom was onto something.
I don't want to be beaten to death.
We'll clean your room and you won't be beaten to death.
Mommy, don't beat me and hold me under the water.
Well, we can't even do this justice. Here's the clip, man. Little kid visiting wake, crying her face off. Has no connection to this little girl.
The wakes for little nixzmary are any indication of how her funeral will be. Hundreds of people are expected here at St. Mary's Church for the services at 9 a.m., while the child's mother and stepfather sit in jail, indicted by a grand jury. People old and young are mourning the death of the child.
I wanted to come see her because her story touched me, and I felt so bad. That wasn't right for what her father did.
Young children overcome with emotion made up some of the hundreds of mourners paying their final respects to 7-year-old nixzmary Brown.
It's a tragedy. It's something that shouldn't happen to her because she had her whole life ahead of her.
Holy shit, are you kidding me?
That's a little rehearsed because her story touched me.
Little rehearsed. Look at you.
I'm just saying that.
Story let me hear her again. Is there any way to get to her?
That's what I woke up to this morning, by the way. First thing, turn on the TV with my cup of coffee, and I see this little girl crying her eyes out because she had to go to a wake.
The wakes for little nixzmary are any indication of how her funeral will be. Hundreds of people are expected here at St. Mary's Church for the services at 9 a.m., while the child's mother and stepfather sit in jail, indicted by a grand jury. People old and young are mourning the death of the child.
I wanted to come see her because her story touched me, and I felt so bad. That wasn't right for what her father did.
Young children over...
Her story touched me.
It's horrific, man.
It's awful.
That fucking news sucks so bad.
Such a tragedy, and I believe child services should have been more involved in this case.
But what he did to her, allegedly did to her.
Allegedly did.
This is what happened.
It's an outrage.
The mom wanted to get the kid on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, she wanted to get on TV, so she coached her and just said, look, the reason why you came here is because the story touched you. Say it.
Yeah.
The reason why I came here is because the story touched me. And then she brought it down there, and the little kid actually saw a dead little kid. Now she's freaking the fuck out trying to recite what her mother said. I wanted to come down here because the story touched me. Did I say it right, Mommy? I want to go home.
I want to come down here because Daddy touched me. The story. The story. Oh, shit.
So there you have it. That's just a horrific way to start your day.
Little nixzmary, my Marie.
Yes. All right. And then...